Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Leader Lab. It is time for Leadership Shorts. Quick thoughts to level up your leadership. My name is Chad Wright, founder of Forward Partners. I am joined by Emily Grace Deal. I like using all three because it makes you sound like a musician. She's our Chief Musical Officer, our CMO. I think that's the common term for it.
Sure.
So she sings all our intros and outros.
Sure.
And
I sing a lot normally when I'm just talking, but I don't know if I'd like to call it that. I don't think I'm not going to own that.
All right, what are we talking about today?
Leadership, Chad.
We're talking about leadership. That's a shock from us. All right, what part of leadership? What are we doing?
So I have a quote for us today.
Okay. Love a good quote. Is this from Dolly Parton?
Not this one.
Is this from Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
I'll find another one. I'm going to find some.
Hey, by the way, listeners, readers, whatever, we need some good inspirational quotes from my personal hero, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Feel free to send those to lab@leadership. Yeah. No, what's our email? Crap. lab
at forwardpartners.net. Just always toss that one over here.
Lab@forwardpartners. You know what? I'm going to throw to you every time because I'm guaranteed to screw that up. Why is that stuck in my head?
Welcome to the beginning of this episode.
Welcome. Let's go.
All right, here's the quote. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm. Hit me.
In every encounter, we either give life or we drain it. There is no neutral exchange.
From my good buddy Brennan Manning.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Good pal. Good friend.
Yes.
I don't know him. In every encounter, we either give life or drain life. And part of the reason I love this quote and the reason we use it so often is because with leaders, we have to understand this deeply. Like our job as leaders, leadership is ultimately about creation, right? Our job is to create. And part of that process is we should bring life to everyone we encounter. Every single person should walk away going, oh, man, I feel better.
Yeah, I think that's where that average level, like knowing that, like even at your most average, like you're draining life and you don't even realize
that's
it.
Actually a genuinely good call. So for those of you that don't know what she's talking about, so we do these personality workshops with Enneagram. Ding, ding.
Ding, ding.
We're going to start ringing a bell every time we mention Enneagram, which will be a lot. In those workshops, we do these summaries that kind of shows each personality type, right? There's the top 3 levels are heroic. Like we're showing up, we're leading, we're doing all these incredible things. The bottom are terrifying. Like we've probably murdered people. It gets super dark. But the middle is average, and that's the interesting part. We titled it Meh, which I always joke is not a great title because when you read the dead middle average description, man, everybody reads it and goes, "Oh God, that sounds terrible."
Yeah.
Because the average version of all of us, you're right, we're doing damage all over the place.
You're just going with the flow, and the flow is not always inspiring.
It's not good, no. And it ties into this quote so well because ultimately, if we are draining life with every interaction, that's what the average version of us does.
Right.
It's very unintentional. Like that's the thing. When you're unhealthy, you are intentionally looking to screw something up, right? When you're average, you're just walking in and you are draining life from your teams. And that's exhausting. You're not going to want to smack the mic.
No,
that's not a thing we do. But you were so excited about the point, right? You're
yes.
like, yeah, we're in on this. Welcome to our podcast, folks. I think it's understanding how much of a responsibility that is for us.
Yeah.
To show up as healthy.
Yeah. The best version of yourself you can be and just trying that, every day and making that at work and showing up as healthy.
Yeah. Being intentional. Being like, hey, I am going to show up as healthy so I can give life. But I think then it even drills down, not just what version of me is showing up, but every interaction. I love when it says that because you think about how many texts do you send a day?
Right.
How many emails, how many Basecamp messages, how many Slack messages? That's the thing people do, right?
This is like the intentionality and all of the above.
Yes.
It's not just like, okay, I'm going to go intentionally do my task list today. Or I'm going to go intentionally these emails that I have to do, I'm going to reread them 12 times and send the most, nicest version. That's like, no, like every person you meet at the grocery store, every person when you're driving and you're making the choice and, not be a total jerk. Like it's just these
Is
things.
that possible? People can do that?
I think it's possible.
I don't drive on the same roads with those people. I think that is a good point, though. Like it is every interaction with every human you have in every way.
Yeah.
And you think about the number of interactions we have each day. And that becomes a good gauge for us for, am I the healthiest version of me? Yeah. If you can look back through your interactions and go, did I give life or drain life? What did that look like? Did I see good things happen from that conversation?
Right.
But it also, I think there's a pause before every communication, before we send a text message to go, who is this? What are they in the middle of? How can I be of service to them and give life to them? And it's being intentional about whatever that is. And that requires slowing down, right? We're not fans of that, are we?
Yeah, I think that's back to our definition of healthy leadership, just orienting yourself in that direction too.
Yeah.
And some days you're going to have bad days too.
Absolutely.
And that's that, accepting that.
You never seem to have bad days, but I have them quite often. And
I have two tiny humans.
You do have two tiny humans. That leads
true.
to some bad days here and there. You mean a kid spilling their entire cereal bowl on your shirt before you come to work that's not a good thing?
I have bad days, and I've had to change twice before I left my house.
That is normal parenting at that age. I have teenagers. Occasionally, the exact same thing happens. It's weird. I think, but that is okay, which version of me is showing up? Now, am I giving life? And again, we go back to our definition of a thriving team, where we champion healthy leadership. So that, let's say that I was having a bad day, and there's a lot of interactions going back and forth, and you or somebody else on the team is going, "Oh, this feels bad." There's life being drained. We have the language to talk about it, to be able to say, "Hey, you're draining a lot of life today. Are you aware of that?
Right.
Do you know?" And that would wake me up to go, "Oh man, I didn't even mean to."
That open communication.
Yeah, it's funny how many leaders we work with, and when I can kind of point out to them where they're draining life, every one of them's like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. I wasn't trying to hurt," and yet they were.
Right.
And so this is where that responsibility of just, man, we have to show up healthy every day. We have to be intentional about there is no small communication. There is no just, I can be flippant about this. It's no big deal. We're leading. People look to us. And so I think it puts a weight and a responsibility that we really have to be cognizant of. So, yeah, I love that quote. One of my favorites.
It's a good one to have an episode on.
Yes. All right. So if someone has questions for us, if they have quotes from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson that are particularly inspirational, or perhaps Dolly Parton. By the way, we've named our microphones. Hers is Dolly Parton. Mine is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. If you have anything you would like to send us, where do they send that to? Throwing it to you for safety reasons.
lab@forwardpartners.net.
lab@forwardpartners.net. And if people want to follow us online on all the socials to see more of our crazy,
@forwardpartner.
@forwardpartner, you will find some wonderful thoughts and all the things we're learning about leadership. We're dedicated to just sharing it with the world. So you will find that. Thank you so much for being here, Emily.
Thank you.
Thank you, Danny, for producing. Thank you, Wilco Workspaces, for having us and hosting us. Thank you, Coffee and Crisp. Boy, our list is getting longer every episode.
I'm okay with that.
Thank you to my parents for loving me, for believing in me. I couldn't have done this without you. Thank you for joining us. Y'all watching this, it means the world to us. It genuinely does. We will see you next time here at the Leadership Lab for Leadership Shorts.